I remember I was 18. Money, pussy parties, I was on the same thing. You gotta give a boy a chance to grow some. Everybody talking like they know something.
Oh, Extra Mile Sauce Podcast, back with episode 21.
21, what up, what up?
Dion, prime time.
KG.
I heard one of them diss me, I'm surprised.
I'm just playing.
The hell is going on? It's not
Ain't
the start I
nothing.
wanted to say.
Ain't nothing prime time though. Like, only thing that supersedes prime time is Mike.
You ain't beating Prime.
Yeah. 2 sports.
He was cold.
What do you run, like a 4-2 with some Timbs on?
Unofficial. Yeah. He's a bad man.
In a curl. That curl is a tenth of a second right there.
You probably right. With as much activator he had in that joint,
Right.
nigga stay glistening.
And them gold chains, man. That's
Right.
another couple hundreds off, man.
You ain't
That
lying.
man ran track star speed with some Timbs on and all them accessories, man.
So the strength was in his hair.
Huh?
The strength was in his hair.
Right. Samson.
That's what I was gonna say, like Samson.
All right. Let's jump into the most streamed album in Apple Music history.
24 hours.
Yes, in the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
J. Cole.
KOD.
Yeah. Man, I think we. How many times you say you listen to his stuff?
At least 6. About 6.
Yeah,
And you all know I don't do albums like that.
I
man.
got at
Yeah.
least 5 good spins in.
Yeah.
It's a quick listen too.
Mhm.
It's a quick
42
listen.
minutes. You didn't want no extended project?
I mean, I would have liked more tracks, but
We'll
I
get
mean, I'm
there.
not mad at it.
We'll
I'm not
get
mad at it. It played well.
Yes.
Played well.
Yes. Okay. So so Cole dropped his studio album. He did not notify the world until earlier in the week. Was it Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday that he was dropping on 420. Pretty fitting.
Yeah.
That this album was dropped on 420. So it's KOD, Kids on Drugs, King Overdose, and Kill Our Demons.
Or whatever you prefer.
Huh?
Or whatever you prefer.
Or whatever you
Right.
prefer.
Whatever your KOD is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, I just well, let's just start out with the album artwork and presentation. So I think the initial trailer to the album was so dope in setting the tone for what you were walking into.
True.
A lot of times the promotion is just enough to, people are just promoting the album to say, go listen to my album.
Yeah.
True.
But there's actually, his promotional moves were all in line with what his message was and making sure that his message wasn't skewed. I love that he also just said, I want to leave this to your interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's what the name of the album was, here's what I was thinking, but it's all left to your interpretation after that. Like, I'm never going to clear it up for you.
Yeah.
Like,
But yet it's still a conceptual album.
yes.
Most conceptual albums, people point you into the direction that they want you to go.
That's
I
true.
like the fact that, he left that, like you said, to your own interpretation, how you get to spin it. That was what I've been saying for the longest. That's one of my favorite things is conceptual albums. And he hit the mark with this one.
Yeah, so so I thought the album art and everything was just on point. I think having the album have 3 different meanings just from the jump was just such a creative idea that most cats won't do with their actual studio album. That's something somebody would test out like on a mixtape or something of that nature. But
Yeah, absolutely.
they wouldn't test it on a studio album. Let's jump into the production. So my man's produced, as usual, the majority of his own album.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all but 2 joints.
Yeah, I think it was 2.
So Kevin's Heart was T-, and Friends was Childish Major. So those were the only 2 production credits outside of his own. Which we know Cole locks himself away and does all of his own production, which can either be good or bad.
Yeah.
In this situation, I felt it was good. I was happy with his production on this album. Like, it was very similar to No Dope on Sundays to me. That not the actual
I was
production.
gonna let you finish.
Okay.
I was gonna let you finish.
But
The brawl.
I'm gonna let you finish.
But from a standpoint of that, the production didn't give you too much or overwhelm you, and it also didn't underwhelm you. Like, it was right on point. It allowed you to interpret the message the way in which it was meant to be interpreted. So I thought, like, obviously, Cole, every beat doesn't hit extremely hard to me, but I felt like every beat was fitting for what he was doing with that beat. So, how'd you guys feel about the production?
I think the production is the only thing that lacked for me with this project. I didn't think the production was that good.
Mm-hmm.
It was, in my opinion, it kind of got redundant. And when I say not redundant, track over track, but with the way the production feels the same from Forest Hill Drive to For Your Eyes Only to KOD. It's got a consistent vibe to it where it's more I don't want to sound, I think it's boring me. The production is starting to be a bit boring.
See, I thought
with
you were
the direction that he goes in.
I thought you were talking about this project itself. The beats.
No, right. So yeah, even on this project, there's a lot of beats in my opinion that sound similar, but the sound of J. Cole has been the same to me over the last 3 albums.
Oh, I don't get that.
I don't agree.
It has been.
2014 Forest Hills Drive, I think, was his best album production wise.
I agree.
I disagree with that.
From a studio album perspective, I would probably say like Friday Night Lights might have been his best album or his best project production wise. Studio album, I would say 2014 Forest Hills Drive was by far the best.
I think
this
Born
Center.
Yeah,
Born Center is a miss as an album to me. Not like a miss overall, but when I think about,
that's
like,
his best album.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's
Born
not.
Center is his best album.
No, it's not. It's not better than this.
This ain't.
We'll get to it.
Yeah,
but this
yeah,
not
we
better
will.
than this. Like, I wouldn't put Born Center. It might be his worst project to me.
What?
Overall.
No, his first album is his worst project.
Born Center. I'm sorry, that was his worst project. You're right. Born Center would be second to last. Like,
Born Center's not better than Forest. I said
Born.
Born Center not better than Forest Hill.
No way.
Nah, it's
No way.
Forest Hill is his second best album.
I don't know how you love conceptual albums like that and didn't like 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like,
I do love conceptual albums. It was a good conceptual album. I just still don't think it was better. Born Center was a conceptual album too.
it was, but it wasn't a great album. It
I mean, that's your opinion.
There was too many. I'm trying to get a single, or Jay told me I need a single Joyce on there for me. Like, I felt like that's where the misses were at. But back to this one. So I do think that the production left something to be desired in some aspects. So I do agree with you, Dub, in that realm. But I will say, it was fitting for what he was doing within this album.
Yeah, it played with the project to me.
It's very similar to like what Fonte's album was to me. Like, could it have been like some harder beats and things like? Yes.
I'm glad
Would
you
it
brought
have?
that up. I'm glad you brought up Fonte.
Yeah. Would it have possibly watered down the message? Yes. That's where I was at with it.
I think if your message is clear and as concise as his was, it doesn't matter the production you put. I ain't gonna say it don't matter, because it does matter the production you put around it, but it doesn't always have to sound the same. I know you want them to focus on what you're saying as well as what they're hearing, and when I say what they're hearing, I'm talking about phonetically. But I don't know, man.
That's interesting from a Nas fan. It's very interesting from a Nas fan.
No. But my thing is, if you look at the totality of Nas's career, that's my biggest knock on him too. He has bad production selection. Aside from his last album, a lot of his albums miss production. Same way with Common.
I would say like they probably both around a certain period. The production's been great like since then. Like what was it? Hip Hop Is Dead. From that point on, I've been on point with Nas's production.
What was in between Hip Hop Is Dead and Life Is Good?
Life Is Good.
Life Is Good.
Right. No, I'm saying what was is nothing in between them, right? Hip Hop Is Dead and Life Is Good.
Nigga was in between there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nigga was in between there.
The production on that was okay.
It was good again for what the message was to me. Like, so I'm very big on making sure that the production is fitting of what you're trying to do. And in some cases, it's not going to be the best. We're not gonna, I mean, I didn't expect walking into this album that I was going to get a Nipsey production. Like, I knew I wasn't going to get that. I knew I was going to get Rose production. You know what I know it's not going to happen. Not with Cole locking himself in a room saying I'm dropping my own album. Like, there's not much feedback and things like that, you know, going on. From a perspective of lyricism and message, what did you guys think?
Phenomenal.
That the production tied in to everything.
Yeah.
So to me, just go back to the production real quick. It kind of falls suit to what the content was, the redundancy, everything sounding the same. So he used that same message in production to travel over to the lyrics and the content. Yeah. So that's why it worked for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
I have a pretty similar perspective. I was very happy with the content. Man, I think like when I think about standout songs for me, Kevin's Heart was so dope to me. 1985, where he's a lot of people took it as a diss track, but in no way did I feel like this was a diss track. I felt like he was schooling the younger generation.
I just feel like that's what people look for, though. That's what they look. Yeah. It ain't wasn't that.
Yeah. What was the joint he did that was towards Kanye and Wale? I forgot the name. That was False Prophets.
Yeah.
It had a False Prophets feel to me of he's preaching but trying not to preach too much. You know what I'm saying? Just more so adding perspective. And that's whenever you get that type of Cole, I always love it. And then he was pretty much issuing a warning to the cats he dissed them. Took the J approach. Like I'm not gonna address you because that's just gonna blow you up even more. But I am gonna let you know I heard you.
All you other niggas throwing shots at Jigga.
Yeah. So I love that approach. Like, okay, that's your warning. But just being honest, I wouldn't fear. Like, if I was a real MC, I wouldn't fear Cole. I wouldn't fear Cole in a battle.
You don't have to. I don't think he's not. I don't think that he's built to battle rap.
I don't.
He not built for the lyrical sparring back and forth. It's a lot of other guys that I fear.
Yeah.
Before I would fear him.
Yeah.
Technically, he's nice. Lyrically, he's nice. But you talking about just going back and forth at it, bar for bar, battling some dude. I wouldn't fear Cole.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, maybe it's because we haven't seen him in that realm. He might have some shit to offer that.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna knock him. From what I've seen so far, nah, you don't scare me.
Yeah, he doesn't scare me at all. Like, I think like I would welcome a battle with Cole if I was a rapper. Like, because I know he's gonna take the high road approach, and I'm gonna just tear him up. Like, if I'm an elite rapper, that's how I would feel. You know what I'm saying? Like him, there's a couple other cats I would feel like that about. I know people used to feel that way about Drake, but Drake's too petty. Petty. So, you know, I could never feel that way about him.
So, I mean, and it because I think the best battle rappers, it has to mean something to them.
Yeah.
The guys who will be successful when it comes to that lyrical sparring is they don't want to get embarrassed. I think Cole wouldn't. He's too nonchalant. He really just don't give a damn. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't see how he would be an elite battle rapper. Guys like, if you want to test guys who's gonna mean something to, those is the guys who I think will thrive when it comes to battle rapping.
Right.
When I think
cats who ain't trying to get embarrassed.
When I think of Cole, I think of Derrick Rose. Okay. So meaning like he got game, you know, he got flow.
Because they both just.
But nobody never really
got their dreads twisted.
You ready?
Nobody ever really comes after him. So I think if he had to, like with Rose,
he can get busy.
Exactly.
I feel you.
I think it would.
I'm
be
not mad at
decent.
that.
Like I think it would be decent, but I don't think he could shut nothing down.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but then again, it's yet to be seen. So I mean, I guess that's.
I mean, the cast that's firing shots, I don't think lyrically could hold a candle to him. So
at all.
Like that's not even something to really worry about. But just in general, like when he was issuing a warrant out, I ain't scared. I don't even rap, like for real. I ain't scared. But what did you guys think of the features?
Well, it was only
Kill
Edward, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
I found those tracks to be kind of the highlights because I like that soul kind of vibe going to it. But did he need them? Probably not. But to stay with that drug, if you will, sound, that vibe, it meshed with this project.
And he's starting to make it his staple as to where, okay, when I got my project come out, I want you to hear just me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want, and especially with an album that's this meaningful in message, you kind of don't want any features because you don't know what they're gonna get on there and say.
Exactly.
So you want everything that's going to be heard on this album to come from a place where this is what I'm presenting to you as my interpretation of what KOD is. You take from it what you will, but I don't want there to ever be any type of misinterpretation with what I'm giving you in this message. And you can have that in a feature because you don't know what the other person gonna get on there and say. So the type of features, there's only two that he had on here, fit for what I think he was looking to do anyway. So I mean, it was what it was. They was decent.
Yeah, I love the features just because they were simple and very fitting for where he placed them in the album. I don't think Kill Edward did too much. I think it was exactly what was needed at that point in time.
I'm pretty sure that was by design.
Yeah, of course.
Cole gave him just like, look.
I'm sure he stripped them off some other stuff. Like
he may have. He may have. He said, look, you got this little lane. You stay right here.
Right.
And I ain't mad at it.
Yeah.
It ended up still working out for the best.
Yeah. Other thing that I just was in love with the album was how he was playing with a lot of the current flows and things, just to show that if that's what you want to do, it's very simple for me to do.
Yeah.
But I can give you substance while giving you that same
Absolutely.
flow.
Wordplay.
All right. I can give you substance while giving you that same flow that's popular right now. And it's easy for me.
He definitely did. And that's why when I said earlier, I was like, technically he's got it. Because he gave you those flows that you hear that's getting the pop radio. But he was talking something that you'll never hear on pop radio. So it was cool. But I already knew he could do that. You showed me that on Friday Night Lights. How versatile you could be with the way that you flow. So I'm just to be honest, I don't want to hear Cole rapping like other niggas.
So how long ago was Friday Night Lights?
2009, maybe.
So that's almost 10 years. It's a different breed of listener now.
And that's what I was about to say. This is meant to capture this newer generation of hip hop fans, like those flows and things, because the cadence and nature of the flow is going to capture you, right? And then later the substance is going to hit you when you ain't looking for substance.
No, the substance not going to hit him.
So it's going to hit him. Because you will quote something for so long and then it's going to start to make sense.
I was driving this weekend and there was a group of females. They were younger. They probably I'm going to say between 17 and 22. They were bumping the joint and I'm bumping the joint right next to them. Yeah. They was 420. They doing their thing in the car, and I'm like, little do they know that.
But that's
you're listening to what he's telling you, like.
But that's the great thing. Like,
and they didn't grasp.
The messages have to. They can't be out in the open because they won't even listen.
True.
Right. So the fact that it's a little bit more overt, like allows or coded for them. Will make them listen to it. It's their Saturday night music. Eventually, one day when you're getting dressed or getting ready to go somewhere, you're gonna be like, "Man, he was really saying something in this song."
Well, I hope that's the case. But nowadays, when we hear artists, even if we don't like them, we listen to him because of the name.
Yeah.
People know J. Cole. Well, they may not like his music, but people gonna listen to. Okay, let's see what whack joint he's thrown out. Now you either like J. Cole or you hate J. Cole.
Very little in between on it.
And people, they're gonna listen to it regardless. And then the beat, they was vibing to the beat.
Maybe it might be a sense of rebellion where they hear him, they know exactly.
But are they listening?
Maybe they are, and it's just like, okay, well, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. But and ultimately, you have to remember, music can be played whenever. So
you're right.
10 years down the road, they might revisit this album. They might actually have meaning to them.
True.
At that point, yeah. So that's the great thing with being creative. Like, those things can be interpreted different by different generations. You got to think that the 8 and 10-year-olds that's listening to this, like, he's probably helping them shape their mind and looking at older brothers and sisters like, man, I'll never do that. Cole was rapping about that. You know what I'm saying? So I think the messages, like, you can't force anybody to utilize the messages that you're putting out there. But,
true.
As long as you put them out there in the universe, everybody has the opportunity to listen to them. So, and you make your own decisions. So you have free will, but at least he put it out there. Yeah. That's my perspective.
I dig that.
Yeah. All right, so let's mild sauce scale it.
I'm gonna go 5. 5 mild sauces.
All right. I'm going 3.7. 3.7.
Okay.
You gotta have a quarter. It's gotta be like 3.75, 3.5. Like,
what was the last project you gave a 3.7 to? What was that?
I don't know.
Get him that extra nickel, man. Is that 3.75?
So what anytime we do anything mild sauce scale, I always think about all of the other projects that we've pit against it. I don't think it's better than Nipsey, but I think it's a little bit better than Fonte. I think I had Fonte at a 3.5. It might have been
Cardi?
No. Tory Lanez. I think I gave Tory Lanez. I think I gave Tory Lanez like a 4. I think I might have gave Tory Lanez a 4.
It was Tory or Cardi.
4 and a quarter, I thought. 4 or 4 and a quarter.
Yeah.
But from now on, we're gonna do just half mild sauces after this album. Halves is the only one in between.
Alright, I'm with that.
Okay. I'm at a 4.5. Is where I'm at with it. So the substance of the album and everything, like, obviously, like I said, that the production was fitting for what it was supposed to do. But I mean, that's kind of the thing that's always left to be desired from a Cole album. Other than 2014 Forest Hills Drive and some of the earlier stuff. But from after 2014 Forest Hills Drive on, I can say consistently I'll be looking for more production from him. Or better production from him, because I know he's capable of it. But that would be the only thing I felt like was missing within this album.
The production, and the first part of the album was just boring to me. I knew I was gonna get what I was looking for with the bars. He didn't miss me on any of the message. I think that's the only part that helped me carry through, like, those first 3-4 tracks. It just was really boring.
I always be concerned when niggas be bored by substance, man. I always be concerned, man.
I mean, you could be
my
saying
niggas be
you could be saying it. The thing about it is, you could be saying some shit, but if you don't sound good, then what is you talking about?
I thought it sounded great, man.
Right. That's why you
photograph.
That's why everybody
so
entitled to.
At what point do you felt like it stopped being boring? Just so I can get a gauge.
Because when I heard photographs, like, this about to be totally different.
Probably motivate. ATM was straight. Yeah, I would probably say ATM.
Interesting perspective.
The best songs is on the back half of the album. Brackets.
I thought it was
Window
solid
Pane, 1985. Those is the best songs
to me.
Do you have skips?
Huh?
You have skips?
Not a huge fan of Photograph.
Photographs is beautiful ballers.
You said what?
Photographs is beautiful ballers.
Yeah, I'm straight on that.
You straight on Beautiful Ballers? Because I know that show pays. So I got
Oh no, I'm off of that. I told you, Beautiful Ballers is
that's photographs, man.
No. But I'm saying I'm off of it. That was quick 2 minutes.
Are you talking about Beautiful Ballers or his new one?
No, I ain't talking about the new one, man. The new one, Ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I won't partake.
More for me.
From the Devil's Cup.
Right. I will not. Down, Satan.
What Kanye say on that Drunken White Girls? A little sippy sippy.
It's a little sippy sippy.
Get a little sippy sippy.
Oh Lord.
Oh man.
Speaking of Ye, let's jump into Ye.
Perfect segue. You see how I set that up?
That was the intent.
Yeah. Through the legs. Colin Sexton.
Kanye's Twitter been busted lately, man.
Yes, I'm glad he's back.
This is that I need to promote my album, Ye. I need some hype, Ye.
Yeah.
But I will say this has been like a motivational speech via Twitter.
He been dropping some
for
jewels
like
in
some
there too,
weeks,
man.
Mm-hmm. We getting a lot of all the colors of the Yeezys, all the pastels. That was so dope to me. But
he could have said.
I thought of you when I saw that salmon.
Huh?
When I saw that salmon color.
Yeah, that's me right there. But
salmon.
Yeah, he said salmon. The L is silent, but
so even when I correct myself, he still got to shoot the.
Because he used to correct other people. He used to always correct others.
I still correct. You right. But you give them a breath to correct. If they correct themselves, then you let them live.
All right, salmon.
Now, if I would have been like,
say it again. Just say it again. I'll leave you alone.
Illinois. You don't let that ride.
They still get on my nerve. Illinois.
You from Illinois?
And there be people from here who still say Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah. But Ye has been making a lot of announcements via Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that he had talked about earlier in the year that he was going to be producing all these albums coming out for good music and all of those things.
Yep.
So as he started now, so I'm just going to tell it's 3 albums I was really hyped about.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, Push.
Yes, of course.
I'm glad that's the first one you
said. Push.
I know it's gonna be some fun.
Yes, and then somebody tweeted like, "Is Push still gonna rap about keys and bricks?"
He was like, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am."
Like, what else is he ever gonna rap about?
Nothing else to rap about.
And that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to when it sounds good, you gonna listen regardless. It don't matter. You know what you gonna get from Push. It's not gonna derive out of his lane, and it's still gonna be cold.
But the creativity of Push and Malice and them, like, that's the most creative drug rappers of all time.
Like, nobody can talk that talk like they do.
Like, so
it's not even close.
Like, I don't even like to hear other people talk about drugs. Like, you ain't Push, you ain't Mal.
It ain't
like
even close.
So yeah, so I'm ready, and it's like he's getting better with time. It's like fine wine. Like every time he drop a new verse or something, he's murdering even more. It's like ridiculous. So, I'm so geeked for the Push project. Like I know that it's well thought out, especially with the role that he has at Good Music. Just being able to help other people shape their albums, I know that helped him to shape his even better, and really realize what he's putting out as far as content and how rich it is. So I'm really hyped about that. You want to do the honors? Should I do the other honors?
No, go for it.
Escobar season has returned,
Escobar
season with a whole
project, dog. Like I just said, that's the only thing he's ever really been missing. Even though Life is Good was cold, nigga or Untitled, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. And you can't.
Production was decent.
You can't play on no production with Nas, man. You gotta come legit.
If you're talking about Nas linking up with Ye, and he producing the whole joint, and I don't know if he executive producing it or not, but that's yet to be seen. Man,
I don't think that matters.
I don't think you can miss this.
No.
And the crazy thing about it is how we just talked about last week.
Yeah.
About who would have to drop for Nicki and Drake to not necessarily be missed out on, but who would have to drop around that time? And the same people who we said would give them problems is who's dropping. Besides Beyonce, but that's yet to be seen. But the fact that Kanye is dropping, the fact that Nas is dropping, the fact that Push is going to be a little bit earlier, which is cool. But this is going to be bananas. The next 2 to 3 months for music is going to be great.
And so anytime that Ye does his first album that he's doing their whole album, it's finna be crazy. Like, you have to remember Common B, like when he took him to the next level.
That's still his best album.
Yeah.
There's about to be a resurgence for Nas, man.
Yeah.
And he ain't never left.
And that's what I'm saying. Now there's one concern I have with this Nas project. Nas got a problem with letting too many cats get on his album sometimes, man. And if we get Kid Cudi or somebody on a Nas album, man, I think they're gonna be mad. Man.
Cudi might be straight on that. What I don't want to see is Nas didn't always
Designer. He gonna let Designer spit.
I hope not. I don't need that. What I don't. But here's the thing: is ain't nothing wrong with New York cats, but I don't want to see a ton of New York cats on there like A Boogie and Don Q. I don't want to see them on every single track.
Just because they're the new wave.
Huh?
Just because they're the new wave.
Yeah.
How many Davies verses?
I hope I don't see a lot of Davies.
I don't want to see no Davies verses.
I like East. I hope I get one.
I want him to do this I want him to have a feature album like J. Cole's album, man. Like, I don't really want too many features because I know with the Ye production,
that's not far fetched though.
Maybe we can get a Tony Williams hook, something like that. But I don't want too much Legend here, there. But I don't want too much. Maybe a Consequence, something like that.
Give me an AZ.
Yeah, give me that. That would be dope.
I doubt we see that. It would be cold.
Ye could talk him into it too.
Ye could talk just about.
Let's bring the firm back together for the closing track.
You know,
something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Would be crazy. That would be crazy.
The other thing I'm looking forward to is when he gets into that Wu type sample with the gritty samples and the popping of the records and stuff. Like, I pray he gives Nas some of them.
Man.
Like nah, dog, run that record through the dust again. It's not great.
Another thing that I want is like I hope he probably not gonna do it just because Ye seems like he wants a lot of creative control around these projects right now. But I would love if he like collabed with like LP. Or somebody on this. Could you imagine Nas and Large Professor on a track with Nas?
I mean,
ridiculous.
Kanye's into bringing anybody in, so I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised. Pete Rock slid through anybody like that.
That'll be like, nuts, dog.
He would love for that to happen. Like, Kanye's not selfish,
right? No. But he's definitely not. But I just think with the mind frame that he's in, or maybe it's just the picture I'm painting for myself with the way that the tweets came out, is that he just wants complete creative control over this. I remember like 4 or 5 months ago when Push was like, yeah, the album is done, it's ready, and then he let Ye hear it, and Ye was like, this is good, but I want to come back and, produce the whole thing. And then he was like, cool, and scrapped everything and started all over. So I just feel like the creative control that Ye is looking for right now, we might not get that. Yeah. But if we do, then it's great.
I'm also excited because this means Ye is in a very hip hop space right now.
Very hip hop.
So we're not gonna get hopefully from his album we're not gonna get Yeezus type stuff or nothing like that. Like, we gonna get closer to like the graduation, late registration type of Ye production where musically and sonically it's so dope. But he's still gonna get off. You know what I'm saying? He's still gonna be able to use his creativeness.
Yeah, Nas not gonna experiment too much either. I said Nas not gonna experiment too much.
No, because when it works, it works. So he ain't gonna derive off of, when it comes to him anyway. He's not gonna derive too far off of what he know he does good. Or, that's what got him as one of the greatest ever. So
what do you think about this Ye and Cudi collab album? It's gonna be very emo. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but that's okay because the last time he went super emo, it worked for me. I loved 808s and Heartbreak. So if you give me something like that again and you put Cudi into it, you might not get a lot of bars. But first of all, Kanye has always said one of the people who inspire him most is Cudi, and inspired Kanye is him at his greatest form. So if you get an inspired Kanye and an inspired Cudi, because Cudi got a lot going on with himself. True. And he feeling like he back and he better than ever, and he's feeling like he's got something to prove. It's not on the top of my list, but it's definitely one I'm gonna be checking for. He said it's short though. He said it's like 7 songs or something like that, right?
I don't know what that.
No, his project.
Oh, you said his project is 7 songs.
Okay. Kanye's project.
It's going to end up being longer than that. He can't just put out 7.
That's right up Kanye alley. Nobody gonna tell Kanye what.
11. He'll give you 10, 11, but he can't never cut nothing that short.
That's always been his problem, though. You're right.
Yeah.
He's always had a problem cutting albums now.
Like, he'll tell you it's gonna be 13 tracks, and then he'll put out 22. You'd be like, wait, I thought this was gonna be a 13 track. So I don't really believe what he has to say as far as how long his album is gonna be, because he's too much a perfectionist, and then he's gonna listen to these other tracks and not gonna be able to leave them off. I think the Tiana Taylor project, like, why does he give Tiana Taylor so much dope production all the time? I don't know if y'all listen to Tiana Taylor projects like that. Like, the and production is always crazy.
She dope.
Yeah, so I know that this is gonna be dope.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's gonna be a good summer.
You think she gonna have Iman?
I was about to say that we're gonna get an Iman verse.
I think so. Verses. I think you gonna get it.
I don't want no Iman verses, man.
Hey, the only thing I ever heard from him, it was decent.
It was
straight.
It's alright, but I think, straight. But the vibe that her and Ye be having is just so different. You know what I'm saying?
She gonna put her man on the record.
Yeah, it has an old school R&B vibe with like more of the new sound. Yeah, which is very creative. And then a lot of the beats sound more like somebody should be dropping a rap verse on it, just not Iman. Yeah. Like, just not Iman.
I'm open to that. I'm open to an Iman verse.
Too open, man.
Why?
Don't be too open, man.
Why? It'd be different if he ever gave you some trash.
I'm with you.
The only thing I haven't heard nothing whack. When he did drop something, it was like.
I know he's from Oak Park, man, but you ain't gotta rap everything he do, man. It's alright, man.
I forgot he was from Oak Park until you said what with the River North or something like that.
Oak Park, River Forest.
Yeah, River Forest. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean that ain't got nothing to do with it.
I'm not checking for no Iman verses, man.
I ain't saying I'm checking for it. I'm saying I'm welcome to him being on there.
Verses, man.
Shit.
Ain't nothing wrong with checking for Iman verses if it delivers.
No, I'm saying I'm welcome to him being on there. I hope that he's on there. I want to hear something else from him. But if you say I'm that's not gonna be like the first.
Because I just feel like it's gonna be such a short project, and it's gonna have such a distinctive vibe to it that he's not gonna add to that vibe.
I think I think it's because it's been so long. I think she's gonna have a nice full length album. I don't think you're gonna get.
It's gonna be more than 11, like 10, 11.
Minutes.
I'm thinking 12 is gonna be in her same mode, and with her being so creative, it's gonna be. She's gonna put Iman in a pocket where Iman not look like trash. She ain't gonna make it look like trash.
I'm not talking about the length.
He's
or
not
the
trash.
amount of.
I'll make sure that let me get that out there. I don't think Iman is trash. I just don't think it fits the vibe. Go ahead.
What I'm saying, I'm not looking at. So I'm not even looking in terms of how many tracks it is. I'm talking about more so the length. She has a tendency to get off into that creative space where it starts to be just a bunch of vibes and her just. Moving out to the music. So I think you might get some 2 or 3 minute interludes or like a 7 or 8 minute song just because her and Kanye get into this groove and this vibe and they just spacing out. So that's where you might get a 50, 60 minute album. But it's still only be 11 tracks. Because they gonna get into that space or that spot where they just straight vibing.
But they also do the 2 minute joint, 2 minutes and 4 seconds joint too.
So I think it's gonna even out. At the end of the records, a lot of extended.
Yeah,
it could be. I mean, it's. I guess only thing we could do is wait. It ain't gonna be too long.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's good music finna rule the summer, man.
Easily.
Other people gonna drop. Other people gonna have good albums, but I think good music's just gonna be dropping that consistent.
Yeah.
That consistent, high quality music.
It was like every week, every other week, something new was projected.
And I would love to hear a Sci-Hi on a Nas album.
Oh man,
because it could definitely happen. It could definitely happen right
I want to hear Sci-Hi on everybody. Well, no, not everybody.
I don't want him on Tiana.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't even know if I would want to hear him on the Kanye and Cudi joint. But on Nas, I would definitely love to hear him on Push album.
Yeah.
Them on one track. See what happened last time they got together. Boy, stop playing. Yeah, this is once I seen all of these tweets, I got excited. It's been a while since the last time I got excited for an album.
I try not to get too excited, man. That's how letdowns happen, man. So I don't.
I'm a prisoner of that, especially when it's somebody who I like. That's what hurt me so much with M. once I put you on like this pedestal, I was just like, man, you once you reach this air or this realm when it comes to what I think you provide to the culture, you up here. And the only way you can come down is if you give me some consistent whack, products. Those dudes haven't done it for me yet. So especially Push. Push is easily one of my favorite rappers for like the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And it's Nas too. So I'm expecting a lot out of both of those albums.
Yeah.
My expectations are extremely high for both of them albums.
They're high for me, but I always have to go into it with a very open mind because I know creatively, they're probably not gonna do the same things that they did previously. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's why I can't get too hyped for it, because I know with Ye and things like that, like things are gonna be different. Like
and
so I have to leave room for the uncertainty.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig that.
Yeah. Let's get into 2 recent incidents. So I want to get into the 2 brothers getting arrested at Starbucks in Philly, as well as the Waffle House shootings. So the Philly one is quite interesting, man, and I think it's happened to a lot of black people, a lot of black men in other situations. And it may not have went to this extreme. Huh?
I said, get it off your chest, Steph. Not yet. Not yet.
I ain't got nothing yet, man.
Yeah, so one of the big things with that stood out to me. So for the people who aren't familiar, 2 black guys went into Starbucks. Were sitting down waiting on a third man to come to meet up for a meeting. After they sat down, one of the Starbucks workers came up and addressed them and asked them if they were going to buy anything. One of the brothers asked if he could use the washroom, and was met with, "That's only for paying customers."
Brother got up and used the bathroom anyway.
Yeah. And then about 2 minutes later, the police showed up. And the way that it was positioned made it to seem like that these brothers had been asked several times to leave the premises. But I don't know about y'all. Like, I know my friends, I know myself, and I also know I see several white people sitting down at Starbucks, chilling, ain't buying nothing, ain't bought nothing,
Starbucks
ain't looking to buy
tell
nothing.
You to come sit.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
Yeah,
it's free Wi-Fi, usually pretty nice, decent vibe. So why not? People go in there and study all the time.
Yep.
What's the issue?
Yeah, so I know one of my best friends, he was studying, for like his board exams there, and it was never really an issue. But I know anytime black men, like more than one, go sit down anywhere, it seems to cause a heightened situation. Like they immediately think that we're stealing or we're there to cause a ruckus. Old school word, a ruckus.
Yeah.
But like I'm really tired of the media changing the narrative when it comes to these situations, or trying to use smear tactics to not truly address what the problem is in America. And the other issue is the Waffle House shooting. So young terrorist, from Morton, Illinois.
Very, very fitting word.
Yeah.
Young terrorist.
Went into Tennessee Waffle House and began using his rifle to shoot it up. A young black guy.
Young black superhero.
Was courageous enough to go and take the gun from him. And he ran off into the brush. They just found him a couple hours ago. A few, in the woods or something, very close to his apartment complex.
He's from Illinois.
Yep.
Yep. Illinois.
Yeah.
No, it's Illinois.
Illinois.
But
sorry.
So it's so funny, like when there's anything to do with the black man, he's a terrorist or violent history and past. But when it's a white kid, it's troubled youth.
Yeah.
Possible mental illness.
He didn't have both parents.
Right.
He suffered some type of traumatic experience.
Exactly.
He was molested when he was little.
Right. And they failed to really mention the incident that they had at his house with him and the guns that they had to come and take away in August.
Right.
Or how he just walked in here and just opened fire. And we failed to...
With a rifle, right?
Yes.
He had a rifle.
Yes.
It's pretty much is a documented history.
Yep.
On that cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
But when it's a black man, it turns into, when he was 6, he stole penny candies from the store.
Yeah.
We knew from then.
And they gonna
he
use
was
his,
doomed. Yeah,
they're gonna use his mug shot.
Right.
But Timmy, they're gonna use his high school graduation picture.
Right. Yeah. And so the narrative is quickly changed, and people start to bandwagon immediately, right? So we have a young black hero that they don't want to acknowledge as a hero. And in the media, we're spending more time acknowledging the fact that this young man was troubled.
Well, I saw today where for the guy that stopped him, he had a press conference with. So
he finally had one, I think, yesterday.
Yeah. So
the pub on it was not.
Yeah, we're never gonna get our due in terms of, like Aaron stated, superhero. We're just not gonna get that pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I'm thinking like about this Starbucks situation, and just so because we have the platform of social media now, the word can get out so quickly about what's going on, what happened, and they can't mask the true narrative the way in which they probably could several years ago, where we can't even get the information, right? You can find an avenue to get that information out there. And so the information's out there now. But my whole thing is, why aren't we staging sit-ins at Starbucks?
So I will say this, why I wouldn't necessarily...
And are y'all brothers in for the sit-in? Because I'm ready to go do the sit-in.
Here's why I don't think a sit-in is necessary. I think that Kevin Johnson, I'm pretty sure that's the CEO of Starbucks, has done a remarkable job of getting out in front of this.
Do you think... So I want to point out something that seems to be very obvious to me. Mm-hmm. That he's getting in front of this and using the race card in a positive way so that he can have an opportunity to make more money off of this situation.
No.
I don't think so.
Because you got to look at how much money are you going to lose by shutting down?
That's the whole point.
But wait a minute, because this isn't the first time he spoke out against injustices. When Mike Brown got killed, he in what was it? In how long ago was that? It had to be like
4 years
Mike
ago.
Brown, about
something
4 or 5.
like that. He wasn't even the CEO at the time, but he lobbied to have. You know how when you go to Starbucks, they put your name on the cup and all of that. I can't remember what the slogan was, but he lobbied for basically. I gotta look up the slogan, what it was, but it's basically for about racial injustices, and he made sure that they wrote it on every single cup. And now he's gonna make sure that they do this racial bias training, and he's shutting down every single store.
8,000. That's a lot of stores.
But I think
that's a ton of money. I don't think this is for publicity.
I think that's a publicity stunt. Like, because if I shut down all those stores in one day and say
publicity stunt. This is exactly what I would want you to do.
It's a great publicity stunt. Like, I totally think it is.
First of all, nobody else does. Who else has done more on a corporation this level with being able to get out in front of these injustices? I mean, what has any of these other chains done that where these injustices happen? Because it's happened in big places before. Where we've felt like we've been slighted or racially profiled inside of Macy's, for instance, or something like that. What has Macy's ever done where there's been some sort of social injustice?
Barney's.
Well, I don't think that
right, Barney's.
This isn't getting out in front of it to me. This is damage control and capitalizing on the damage control to me. No. And this is my perspective. But
so
I think that let me finish my perspective. Damage control can do good or bad for you at this point in time. His swift acting and firing, making sure that that employee was fired and that there was some swift action that was taken, was a very smart move, right? A lot of people are going to say, okay, this is a good company, right? But when I really think about it, like the way that it's been publicized and all of those things, it's just been used to their advantage, right? H&M had a very similar situation. They didn't, and the way in which they went about it was poor, right? Barney's, Macy's, very correct. But they saw an opportunity to capitalize. And when I say that, I really think their marketing department saw an opportunity to capitalize on a terrible incident that happened in one store out of 8,000. And yes, for one day they're going to lose some money, but you know how much more money they're going to drive in because of the acts that we're taking.
You know how much money that they could potentially lose? If you look at the different social media sites and the comments that they're getting back directed at Starbucks, is like, oh, because that you're going to close the stores for this one day, you would have never done this in different situations. How much backlash they're getting for closing the stores. First of all, Macy's, Barney's, and all of those other corporations that we named did nothing. So the fact that they're still doing something means more to me than going in and boycotting them. If they weren't doing anything, then I could understand why we would need to why we make I say make a fuss, but
I propose a boycott the day after the training. That's what I'm proposing.
I don't think
a sit-in the day after the training.
A sit-in is needed, nor a boycott. And I'm with you, Aaron. What he did was twofold. It was getting out in front of the situation, but it's also letting the people, black people, white people, yellow, green, whoever, know that we know what's going on. Granted, he knows this is happening with the stores. He probably get the documents in the marketing meetings where they have the customer request and this, but for them to do something about it as quickly as he did. He didn't even have to go through the extreme of shutting down 8,000 stores.
Exactly.
His apologies.
That's what I said. That's why I feel like it's a publicity stunt.
Would have sufficed.
And I don't think it's getting out in front of it, because getting out in front of it would have been, to me, having a diversity training on the front end.
Well, we don't know. Everybody has an ethics training, so this was just one person that made one decision.
And this isn't just ethics training. This is geared towards racial discrimination. Ethics training could be it's so broad and it's so vast. You can break down so many different.
Well,
it does.
I pose this question.
This is focused purely upon racial discrimination.
I pose this question. If this situation doesn't blow up like this, does he react the same way?
Well, if the situation,
because if that's truly his stance on it, do we act the same way? Because I know that this has happened previously, and I know it's got up to his desk previously.
But how do you know that?
But it wasn't nationally publicized, and it wasn't on video.
But you have to be aware.
How do you?
I know that it's happening.
It's probably so much that don't even come to him as a CEO. You know, he has people before that's just, we're gonna take care of this. This doesn't have to go to cabinet, but it was national. And he did hear about it. Hence, he had to make a comment. Hence, he had to do something. So
when they send those lawyers out and things like that and pay off and create those small settlements so that it never hits the media, like in those type of situations, we think that he would have taken the same, because I know that that's happened by this point. We don't think that the same action should be required then.
I can't say that because I don't know if anything was settled.
If it was, let's just say hypothetically, should the same action be required in that situation?
Only thing I could go off of is what this man has already
Because I would say that's not a publicity stunt. I'm sure something's come across his desk that didn't have a video and wasn't nationally publicized.
So what should he have done? If this to you is a ploy for him to make more money, which I can't fathom how you think that way. But if that's how you feel, what would you have done if you're Kevin?
Well, I'm gonna just tell you, a white man sat and had this conversation with me and totally agreed, like that. This is a CEO of a company, and this is how he said. This is how I would have handled it too, because I know what my bottom line would have looked like after I handled it like this.
So what was it? Because I still think you and that white man is wrong.
Why? What you mean? So what was what?
That you're saying, you and whoever this other guy is, you said that the way that Kevin Johnson handled this situation is wrong. I'm asking.
No, I didn't say that it's wrong to address it, but I know that it's happened before, or if it's not nationally publicized, it's handled the same way. Oh. Like jumping in on a Mike Brown or things like that. Like, these are nationally publicized situations. Yes, I'm going to see a bump as far as like my bottom line because I spoke out on those things. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that if it's a situation that's in small town Illinois or something, right? Are we gonna get that same? Do we hear from him in those situations, right? So we don't hear from them in those situations. So we only hear from them when it's beneficial.
So then that's my question: is what do you do? Because it has hit this mainstream, so because it is a huge publicized event or catastrophe, if you will. What would you have done different?
So I think I don't know that I would have done that much different on the back end. But what I would have been able to speak to is what was done on the front end when we run into situations like this previously, and how as an organization we stepped up and had this training and these things. This is just a refresher at this point in time. So
then if that's the case, that means that any training that you did on the front end still didn't work for this particular.
I'm saying I would have to, because I would know that we've already taken the steps, because I'm so in front of this, and this is something that I'm so passionate about.
And just so like then essentially the only thing that you will be saying is, well, I'm sorry that this situation happened, but we've had training on this before, and then that's the end of your that's the end.
No,
you don't do anything else?
And I said that on the back end I probably wouldn't have done much different.
So
but I'm saying what I would have acknowledged is
Kevin Johnson became the CEO of Starbucks only a year ago.
Yeah.
So within that year's time, this is probably the first time he had to handle something like this.
But what I'm addressing is more so the reactive approach in those things, right? Like, in a reactive approach, yes, I'm going to. I'm saying ultimately he's capitalizing off of that. I'm not, and no point am I saying that Kevin Johnson is racist or anything of that nature.
No,
I'm just saying he capitalized on a moment that most people weren't able to capitalize on.
I don't think he's capitalizing because people are going to go to Starbucks black and white regardless, no matter what's going on. So I don't think it was. If you would have left it as damage control, I would have been more on board than with the capitalization of.
I truly think that's what it is.
How are you capitalizing on such a
that's the
poor
whole point
Starbucks experience?
That's the whole, because if the way we go about it makes it seem as though we're so passionate about this, that in the way that we bring it to the media, because the way the press conferences and things are handled also determine what the publicity and things look like that after that.
Okay, so here's my thing. Even if he doesn't genuinely care, let's just say, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. Let's say Kevin Johnson just really doesn't care about this situation at all. He's still doing more with this publicity stunt than most companies have ever done.
I'm going to leave it at this. I think as black people, we got to stop making excuses for white people.
Whoa, that's deep, man. I don't think we making excuses for Kevin Johnson.
I'm leaving it at that.
Okay, so
no, but that's
the
too
case,
harsh
then
of a reality to say that.
More,
I'm just
like
gonna
Kevin
say
Johnson is doing, and taking
I'm just saying don't make
excuses.
excuses.
How is this an excuse?
I'm just saying don't make excuses.
I don't believe that's an excuse at all.
For the white man.
Nah.
They ain't making no excuses for us.
How the hell is this an excuse? If anything, this is him knowing that there's a fault in the way that things are being run, and he's trying to do his best with the resources and his ability and his position
to make
that he has to make a change in his company. That's the only thing the same thing that we ask of our black leaders.
Do you think that significant change is going to happen after this? Do you think that we're not going to see black men run out of Starbucks?
Well, I don't know.
We can't say that, but with these kind of courses or classes,
do you think that they're
wait. Let me finish. You want there to be change. We can't go in with a place of not being optimistic about what's going to happen. You're already going in defeated, saying this is not going to change.
I'm not defeated.
Based upon what you just said, you're like, do we? You
think
it's
going?
No. Do you think the way the tone was? Do you think there's going to be change? Like, it's not going to work.
Kevin Johnson can't abolish racial discrimination.
Not at all.
But what he's doing is still taking a step in the right direction.
I agree.
For himself and his entire company, which is a $1 billion industry.
So from hiring practices and things like that, do we think that we're going to see a significant change in Starbucks?
That's yet to be seen.
Do we think that there will be severe repercussions? I'm asking just hypothetically. Yes. Do we think that there's going to be severe repercussions for anyone who addresses a black man who's sitting in their store?
Under his leadership, yes, things will change.
It will have to be.
Under his leadership, when it comes to discrimination, yes, I have the feeling, the notion that things will change under his regime. Yeah.
After all
but the hiring practice can't change because then you're going to have another situation in terms of you're hiring based upon.
No, what I'm saying is from hiring practices, ensuring that people are comfortable within diverse environments and things of that nature. There's definitely questions that you can ask that are politically correct to ensure that that we don't have someone that's racist within the situation, right? I don't know if you've ever done like interviewing and things like that, but I know you've done them. Right, and so there's ways to formulate questions to understand.
But you don't really know someone's racist until they get into a situation and you have to see racist.
Not necessarily.
So
not necessarily.
Everything else is a perceived thought that you may have, which is racist or bias on your end. They have to show you.
It's so many unknown factors, so much speculation, so much hypothetical situations that we can come up with. The only thing that we can focus on is what we know and what he's done.
Yep.
And when it comes to what we know and what he's done, I think he's done a phenomenal job in comparison to the other corporations and Fortune 500 companies who have had similar situations and done absolutely nothing. In my opinion, kudos to Kevin Johnson for what he did.
And I'm still gonna leave out on let's not make excuses for white men. I'm not going to say Kevin Johnson is a racist.
No, but your last word, you can't leave.
I'm leaving out on that. I'm not saying that it's directed at y'all. I'm not gonna not leave out on that because I believe that with a passion.
Shout out to Kevin Johnson for shutting down Starbucks.
I'm not shouting out Kevin Johnson. Maybe in 3 to 4 years, I'll shout out Kevin Johnson.
That's the whole point of our platform.
Thank you for being reactive, Kevin Johnson. You're the greatest. Next. NBA coaching carousel.
And I don't mean that in no nice way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's a term of endearment to me.
Oh, man.
NBA coaching carousel. So we have a lot of recent vacancies.
Definitely.
So the Magic, the Knicks, the Suns. I'm praying that the Bucks have a vacancy.
They better, because this dude is trash. Now we agreeing on something.
Yeah.
This dude is absolutely trash.
I don't even know his name.
Who?
Petty.
He's not worth it.
Petty. Something like that.
We was watching the game and I said, "Who's this dude?" He's like, "That's the coach of the Bucks." Like, oh,
whack.
Okay.
Yeah. OKC need a vacancy too.
OKC really needs a vacancy.
I've been saying that he
really needs a vacancy.
I've never seen such egregious mismanagement.
He has to go.
I'm just getting my Stephen A. Smith on right now. Of 2 star players, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Jabari is a star if you give him the minutes. He's never not produced. When he's on the floor, he produces. Is no way in hell you can have a future Hall of Famer in Carmelo Anthony and you just stick him in the corner. Billy Donovan and whoever the hell is coaching the Milwaukee Bucks.
He got to go.
Let's talk about the real vacancies first, and then we'll move into who needs to be vacated.
Do we care about the other vacancies though?
New York.
Well, I care about
New York is big because it's the market.
Orlando.
I don't care, but it's huge because it's
New York, and I think the Suns are 2 because we have to think the Suns are probably going to have number 1 or number 2 pick.
Those are the most attractive.
And they have
places.
Booker, and they have some other pieces.
Yeah,
right. So let's start with New York. Dolan has to change his whole mindset. He can't get a 70-year-old, 60-year-old cat. He's going to have to get a Jason Kiddish. Not Jackson's not gonna work there. He's gonna have to get a Jason Kidd type, someone that's they don't have to be fresh out the league.
Do you think that what's his name, Budenholzer? Do we think that he's a good fit in New York for what they're trying
from Atlanta?
Because he's done there.
It could be.
We know he's done there.
It could be, but I
once they're trying to pretty much allow you to interview with anybody you want to, so that they done with you.
I'm gonna say yes because he dealt with a point guard in Teague that can be kind of emotional. He dealt with a big that can be kind of
a diva.
Emotional.
The ball movement is there.
Yeah.
He's gonna force the ball movement.
So, and what the Knicks have in terms of their lineup, they're not far off. If they keep Burke,
okay,
Porzingis comes back ready.
Because
They need a few pieces, but
they need a true wing scorer. Beasley can come off the bench.
They're not far from that 8-7 seed. And,
okay,
and this will pretty much be ATL East. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at with it.
I
think that could be a very good fit for them.
I'm not opposed to that. I think Mike Budenholzer is a good coach. He's a good player coach. I think he knows X's and O's well. He can draw up plays. He doesn't get frazzled. He just didn't have the pieces in Atlanta after they blew things up.
Yeah, they shipped them all out.
I think, and I can only go off of what New York normally does. New York, more than probably any other franchise, takes into consideration what their fans think whenever they making player moves and coaching moves. I think the hiring of Mark Jackson plays well for the city. It plays well for the egos. It plays well for the chemistry that they think might be there.
Mark Jackson's best fit is in Milwaukee.
I agree with that, but I'm talking about if we talking about New York. I'm not talking about what I want to see. I'm talking about what I think New York will do.
They need somebody without New York ties. New York ties is not going to work.
Because that's what they keep going back to.
New York doesn't want somebody who they don't know.
Well,
I don't care what New York wants.
But that's the problem, right? You don't care. But
I'm saying.
I mean, I said Mike Dolan,
but is that the problem though? Is caring too much about what the fan base thinks? They didn't like Porzingis.
It probably is.
They booed Porzingis. Porzingis is their diamond in the rough now.
It probably is that, but that doesn't.
The brother from DePaul. I couldn't even get it out. The brother from DePaul.
My thing is this: is with Dolan doing what he does, what makes you think it's going to change now?
Well, I'm saying that it needs to change. Obviously, it hasn't worked.
But it's not. But exactly.
Has it ever worked?
That's my point. You're making my point. Is that it's not working. It hasn't worked. He's going to continue to do what he does because he's stubborn. He's stuck in his ways. What makes you think that it's going to change?
So if that's the case, why don't he just give it to Herb Williams? He's been sitting on the bench. He's from New York, played in New York.
Because it doesn't play well as Jay Wright or Mark Jackson does.
I don't want Jay Wright.
If I'm Mark Jackson,
I don't either. But I'm telling you what New York wants.
If I'm Mark Jackson,
this is about what New York wants. It doesn't.
We're talking about what we think is best fit. You know what I'm saying? So
that's not the question you said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Nah.
I don't remember the question. But
if
I'm Mark Smith,
who do we think would best
Mark
fit there?
I thought you said, what do you think they should do? Or what do you think they're going to do? What's the best fit?
Yeah.
I don't...
Because we know that they're known to make terrible decisions. But if you were in their shoes, who would you want to pick?
I'd probably pick Fizdale.
I want to see Fizdale in Phoenix.
I was about to say Fizdale in Phoenix.
With a young team, and he's going to get a centerpiece to go with Booker.
So if you're talking about what I want to see,
what you want to see?
Okay, well then, if that's the case, then I would love to see Fizdale in Phoenix. But the best fit, in my opinion, for New York would be Fizdale.
Mm-hmm. What do y'all think about the Van Gundy? Do you think he really fits anywhere?
No. Van Gundy would never coach again
other
than those USA players.
Well, he's interviewing.
Kenny Smith interviewing. Kenny Smith interviewing, but he not leaving.
Yeah,
TNT.
that Kenny Smith, man.
I think he can make something happen on Orlando.
Who, Kenny?
Nah, Jeff.
Anybody with a TV job.
I think
some low expectation team.
Yeah. I think, but a guy who knows the game, a guy who can still tap into his players, but they just have to buy in. You have to. The only way Jeff Van Gundy gets any traction anywhere is you got to give him time. And now in the NBA is not a lot of time for coaches. Well, when I say time, you got to give him. I'm talking about 3 years.
It's Orlando then for him.
Huh?
It's Orlando.
That's what I'm saying. So I think he can get a job, but it would have to be in Orlando.
But why would you leave TV if you're any of those three?
I would never leave TV unless it was a perfect fit for me, or a team that I know is good already, and I can take them to great.
For me to
you
leave
got to
TV,
give me a lot of
it's gonna have
creative
to be the
control.
Lakers.
You got to give me the same deal his brother got in Detroit.
Well, the other thing with TV is you can always go right back.
I would go for that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, TV
Mark Jackson went
nowhere.
right back. Van Gundy.
Yeah, he could go right back.
I mean, even he takes the little hiatus for the USA team and goes back.
Yeah.
So it's not something that. I mean, I think you're only going to strengthen your skill set as a commentator.
I agree with you.
Or play-by-play analyst if you go to the league and coach another couple years.
Yeah, but at that age, it's not worth it for JVG to go there to Orlando anywhere, unless he really wants to coach.
That's what I was about to say.
Now, if you really want to coach, okay, but if
you want to get back on the pod.
But if somebody call you, you better like, oh yeah, you're not leaving ESPN and USA for that.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't leave USA for Orlando. No,
I wouldn't. But that don't mean he won't. I mean, he might want another crack at it just based off of what's been going on.
And the thing about it now, assistants are so buried on the bench. We don't even know who like the team's top assistants are because they don't really.
Isn't Charlotte's interviewing?
Charlotte is interviewing.
They interviewed buddy from the Spurs.
Messina.
Yeah.
But the other one too. The one that's Halle Berry.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nia Long. Udoka. Yeah.
They gonna get a good coach because I like Mitch Kupchak, and I believe he's gonna find a good coach that's gonna fit for that team.
Yeah.
Who's to say? I mean, and this is speculative, but who's to say it's not a coaching vacancy in San Antonio?
For Pop,
it's very possible.
Who's to say it's not?
But I think coaching's gonna get him through this. Yeah, that's the only way.
That's true. That's true.
He's gonna have to keep his mind preoccupied.
Yeah.
3 teams I think that we should have vacancies. So I think everybody agrees. OKC.
Hell yeah.
OKC.
Yep.
Milwaukee.
Yes.
And I'm gonna just throw this out there because I think he's did all he can do. It's time to move on. Luke Walton.
I say give Luke.
I want to give him 1 or 2 more years.
1 or 2. I'm in agreement.
Does he stunt other players' growth in these 1 or 2 years?
I don't think so.
I think
because it's Kuzma's
and
team.
if you are the Lakers, what are you thinking? Would you, if you're in Magic shoes,
he going after everybody. Magic going after everybody.
That's what I'm saying. So, do you think that Luke gets you Paul George or whoever else you're looking at?
The roster don't get you Paul George,
but you can build around Paul. If you give him a system, a coach, and Paul George will come because there's enough young pieces, and he'll still be the lead dog there.
It all depends on whoever you're going to get in free agency. Can they buy into whoever's going to be leading your team?
Right.
Can Paul George buy into being led by Luke Walton?
Yep, and that's what I'm saying. Do you think Luke Walton's going to lead you to the promised land?
I think he can.
I think you got to hold on to him now.
I think he can.
Because you definitely not getting any free agents if you decide to blow up your coach going into this offseason.
If the Lakers go get a Mark Jackson, a Fizdale, somebody of that nature, do you think that it's more attractive to a Paul George? Or at least we can even throw it out there, a LeBron James. Not saying that he'll go there. You don't want to go there.
It's probably more attractive, but I think Paul George is going to be Westbrook content in OKC. So this is just going off the top. I don't think he's leaving OKC. LeBron, on the other hand, I don't think Walton is that guy that LeBron can Tyronn Lue. So he's going to want a coach that he can have carte blanche, if you will.
Yeah.
And I don't see Walton from his upbringing in the era of basketball he came from doing that for LeBron. So if LeBron goes to LA, I don't think he rolls over for LeBron. It's going to be a new coach. And it's going to be probably a Brian Shaw-ish type. And he's not like that either, but I can see Shaw turning himself into that to be a head coach.
Shaw again? Shaw done had too many failed attempts. Him and Byron Scott, man. Them old Laker guards.
He ain't never had the reins, though.
Whoever go to L.A.
Who, Byron Scott?
No. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Brian Shaw.
He had the Nuggets.
Shaw was
for like 30 games.
That don't count.
Was he Orlando?
Then he had L.A. for a while.
I'm talking about you get to start fresh, not an interim coach or you holding in. I'm talking about you start
in
fresh.
L.A. or somewhere else?
I'm talking about anywhere.
Okay.
As a head coach, you want something that you can start fresh with and call your own. As an interim coach, you can't just in the middle of the season blow it up and say, hey, we're going to implement this, and this. You usually going to take over something that your team has already been doing, whether it be certain offensive or defensive sets. You're not trying to come in and change the whole chemistry of the team. So that's why I'm saying when it comes to Brian Shaw, I think it's still a lot left to be seen with what he can do with a fresh team.
Whoever's in LA, they have to be strong enough to tell Magic and Rob Pelinka that this show about to run through Kuzma. If they can't do that, they don't need to be in LA. They can't run it through Ball unless they get one of these top tier free agents. Then of course, but Kuzma has to be your face of that franchise.
I'm okay with him being the face of the franchise, but when you say run it through him, you mean like he's just getting the majority of the touches?
Kuzma has to be their Kempo, whatever. Giannis.
You want Stacey King for a second?
Yeah. Couldn't get all them vowels.
All them vowels and consonants.
Consonants together, man.
I don't know, man. I believe in his game. I think Kuzma is probably going to be their best player.
It's not Ingram, and it's not Ball.
They on these.
But when I'm talking about playing through somebody, you can't. You have to play through Ball, or else you wasted a pick.
I don't think you play through Ball. Like Paul is a facilitator.
That's what I'm saying. When I say play through him, you have to let this man set the table.
Yeah, set the table up for Kuzma.
And
okay, so if that's
Kuzma has to be your focal point.
Okay,
Are they done with? Because I know they moving forward with IT this summer.
Yeah, IT gone.
They moving forward.
Yeah.
They already said they keeping
them.
Whoa.
Caldwell Pope is probably gone. Remember I told you.
Yeah, I know Caldwell make too much.
I wouldn't be surprised if Julius is gone too.
Yeah, he should be.
Gone.
He should be.
He need to go somewhere else to shine.
Yeah, he'd be great on somebody's bench. That's a true contender.
He needs to go out east like Nico fits because he's on the West Coast team and can play that West Coast ball. So we see him playing. Julius needs to go to an East Coast team.
Toronto or something.
Yeah, I was saying Toronto, New York,
would be nice.
Boston.
Boston
get some
would be
buckets
awesome.
with that second
man.
unit. Huh?
Don't get me excited. With
I'm just saying these are teams that I think he would still get a nice penny because they have a lot of young talent.
He has to be the man on that second unit.
He would be nice in Indiana.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench in Indiana.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
And do the Bulls need to get rid of Hoiberg?
No.
Is it time? If they get a top 5 pick, do they need to get rid of Hoiberg?
I'm giving Fred one more year. I give Fred one more year.
How many years has he been coaching now?
This is second or
third. Okay, he's been there 3 years too.
I give him one more year. That'll be his fourth. Now,
he's been there 4 years.
Depending on who we draft with this sixth pick,
we don't know where it's gonna be.
It's gonna be number 6.
We got to mid-May. Mid-May is done.
We locked at that 6, man.
You never know, player. So here's my thing. The first year, I don't think you can really blame Fred Hoiberg because I think Jimmy Butler stunted his growth, but made him play with a team and a personnel that he didn't necessarily know how to run. Now he's got the pieces with how he likes, and that offense can run. They just need an identity. The players need to find out who they are. Once they do that, the system that he runs is fine. Not the greatest X's and O's coach, but he can tap into those guys and he can get them to play for him.
I'm grading Fred from this year going forward.
Exactly. And I think I saw spurts of them being okay when they get through with this identity crisis. They still don't know who they are. They're still not healthy.
They shouldn't Max Levine. I don't think.
So the other issue is, can he coach any vets that have a skill set and have any knowledge of the game?
I think he can.
We have to get vets
because
who have a skill set and a knowledge of the game.
Huh?
We have to get vets who have a skill set and a knowledge of the game.
He had that and he couldn't coach it.
Well, because you tried to do
even when it was just Wade.
No, he didn't have just Wade. When did he have just Wade?
This going into this season.
He didn't have him.
And
I think that was
Wade
Jimmy
didn't play one game for Chicago this year.
I'm I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, he couldn't coach Wade. We know he couldn't coach Wade last year. He wasn't going to be able to coach him this year. That's why they moved him.
I think Jimmy and Wade got into cahoots on Fred and caused all that disruption.
I
don't disagree with that because Jimmy, that's what he is. He's a ball of confusion.
And that's what I'm saying. So if that's the case, this is the first year that we've really had a chance to see what Fred can do when he has the pieces that he wants and running the offense that he wants. Jimmy was so disruptive in that offense. He turned a motion offense into an ISO every time he touched the damn ball. And I like Jimmy Butler. But you never really saw a fluid offense. You just saw them try to create something every time in the half court. That was it. Now you see them actually get down there and run half court sets. I like the way that they push the ball. They try to utilize their athleticism and their youth and get out and run. And now he's got the pieces to move how he wants. They just need to figure out who they are.
Fizdale is the answer. That's what I think. They should dump him and get Fizdale. That's
I wouldn't be mad at that. But my thing is,
it would speed up this rebuild.
But then you start if you do that, I think that you spend the first 15, 20, maybe even 25 games of next season trying to figure out who you are again.
But you're gonna do that anyway with a lottery pick.
No, you don't.
Starting a lottery pick.
No, I think you can. First of all, it depends on who you get, but I think you can help integrate that lottery pick.
Yeah, it's easy to assimilate them, man, because
especially if you get a Wendell Carter Jr. or a Mo Bamba, because that's who we projected.
Those are two I'm thinking we made.
Those are the two dudes who we projected to get. I really hope we pick somebody different. But those are guys who you can integrate into this offense and not miss a beat. You still just need to figure out, okay, who's going to be that guy. They leaning toward it being Zach LaVine, and I'm cool with that.
You get Fizdale, and you get Sexton, or you get Trae Young, because one of them gonna be there. But
then if you get Sexton, because I'm not big on Trae Young, although he dope. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but I don't want to see him in Chicago.
So what do you do with Chris Dunn? You move him?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Then I mean that you pretty
LaVine,
much gave
I
away
think needs to go. That's my whole.
Then you giving away Jimmy for nothing.
Yeah.
Y'all made that deal, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna help move you forward. Like LaVine is not what the Bulls need.
If LaVine is looking for a fifth year, I will give him 4 and 5 as an option. Give him 4 years, $20 million per, $80 million. So that's his price range. If he's looking for 95, this new max is, I think it's going to be like 170. He's no, you're not getting that.
And I think he knows with the numbers that he put up this year, because he played what? I don't even think he played 30. Oh, he played 30 games, and he averaged like what 17 points, I think.
And he shot horribly.
He definitely shot bad. But they didn't have a rhythm. They have a huge identity crisis. The games that they won, it was okay, whoever getting hot this night. Or, it's a lot of togetherness going on. When they had that 7-game stretch, it was a different guy who was popping every night.
And that's how they would have to win.
It was consistent effort that got that 7-game win streak. It wasn't one guy who you can lean on the Bulls and say, man, we down 5 and it's 2 minutes to go. We need a bucket. You didn't have anybody to go to. And it was just, okay, run the offense and let's hope we can get a good shot.
I don't think with Hoiberg you ever get anybody to go to. Personally. Wow. No one's coming to play for Hoiberg with Garpax in the front office.
Nobody's coming to the Bulls.
I don't think you need a great free agent signing to take a step forward. I'm not. First of all, let me put some things into perspective. I'm not expecting the Bulls to make some huge leap and get into the playoffs next year. I just want to see them take a step forward. You don't have to have a huge free agent signing this year, or do some crazy outlandish spending to make your team move forward to get better. If you do what LA did this year, next year, I'm okay with that because you're growing. LA took steps in the right direction with a young team, a young core, and still an identity crisis. I'm okay if you take those steps forward. If you're getting better and there's starting to be some gelling and some cohesion with the guys you got.
I think with the setup the way it is now, and I know we could talk about this more when we get to draft time because we'll have more in place. But I think this rebuild is going to take a lot longer if you leave Hoiberg where he's at. That's just my perspective. Like, there's no way that we're going to truly rebuild the Bulls with Hoiberg at the helm because nobody's coming here. Unless you're getting top 5 picks every year for the next 3-4 years. That's the only way.
We have to do a better job drafting. And we can't go after the guys we were going after in the past because they were in the Final Four. Mm-hmm. We have to find guys to plug in to what Hoiberg. I think Hoiberg can do it, but we have to have guys to plug in. We can't get caught on, this person did this. That's Ben Gordon.
I agree.
You know, if we can find somebody at an Iowa State or a VCU that fits what Hoiberg is trying to do, another Bobby Portis type.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. If he can run that system. When you picking this high,
you gotta hit. You gotta hit right now. Hit. Especially with how deep this draft class is, you gotta hit.
We did good with Lowry. They need
another
Lowry.
Next year ain't gonna be that good.
Nah. We need another Lowry.
Yeah, but I'm sure we'll get into the draft a little bit later, in a few weeks once we have more color, and we have some of these signings and things like that, as well as where truly the draft pick is going to be. Like I said, y'all might get a 3.
Let's hope.
That Derrick Rose year was a miracle. So
it was.
It might happen.
If you believe in miracles.
Yeah. God made that happen.
Hey, let's say this though. If you get
one,
know what I be
who
on
you take? Rose. What?
If you get number 1, just say it happens. Who you take?
If I get number
Bagley.
1,
that's my pick.
I've been saying that for 3 years. I'm done. Bye. Bagley. We'll talk about nobody else.
That's it. It's a wrap.
All right, y'all. See y'all next week.